Welcome to the Stoic Manhood Guide. Let me tell you something that most women will never admit to you out loud. A woman can think she has you figured out. She can believe you'll always be there. And she can still end up realizing, far too late, that she lost a good man. And here's the twist. That realization doesn't come in a dramatic, tearful scene. It comes in the silence. It comes when the good morning texts stop. It comes when the steady, consistent energy she once dismissed is suddenly and completely missing from her world. You see, human beings rarely recognize the true value of something while they are holding it. She might confuse your consistency with predictability or your kindness with weakness, because she has started to take your presence for granted. So let me ask you this, and be honest. Have you ever been that man? The one who gave consistent care and loyalty, only to feel like it was completely overlooked? In this video, we are going to expose the truth of what actually happens in her mind when a good man finally walks away. We will break down the 5 psychological stages of regret she goes through, from the initial shock of your silence to the final, heavy weight of her loss. This isn't about revenge. It's about understanding your own immense value. By the end of this, you'll understand why your absence can be the most powerful statement you ever make. Stage 1, the void of silence. The first stage of her realization doesn't begin with a dramatic epiphany. It begins with something far more subtle and far more unsettling quiet. When a good man who was once a consistent presence in her life finally decides to walk away, he doesn't leave with a bang. He leaves with a silence. And that silence, at first, is barely noticeable. For the first few days, she might not even register it. She's busy. She's living her life. She might even feel a sense of relief, a little bit of freedom from the good morning texts she had started to ignore. She'll rationalize his absence easily. He's just busy, she'll tell herself. He's probably just in a mood. He'll be back. He always comes back. Her ego is still in control, protecting her from the uncomfortable truth that her behavior might have consequences. She has confused his consistent kindness with a permanent weakness, and she believes he is incapable of truly leaving. She believes he needs her more than she needs him. But then, the silence stretches. A few days turn into a week. Her phone, which used to be a source of constant, reliable validation from him, feels strangely empty. The routine has been broken. The good morning text she used to barely acknowledge is now a noticeable void in her morning. The "Did you get home safe?" message she used to brush off is now a silence that feels like a lack of care. Her ego starts to falter, and a new, unwelcome question begins to creep into her mind, a question she doesn't want to face. Wait, where did he go? This is not yet regret. It is confusion. It is the initial, jarring shock of a broken pattern. The man who was a constant has become a variable. The man who was an open book has become a closed one. This void is the necessary first step. It is the empty space where her ego begins to lose its footing and her emotions are given the room to finally be felt. Now, I want you to think about this in your own life. Have you ever been the one to stop the usual routine of reaching out? And have you felt that uncomfortable but powerful shift in the dynamic that your silence created? The power of this stage is that you are doing nothing at all. You are not arguing, you are not explaining, you are not pleading. You are simply absent. And your absence is creating a mirror, forcing her to look at a world without your consistent energy in it. For the first time, she is forced to confront the space you used to occupy. and she is beginning to realize that space is much larger than she ever cared to admit. Stage 2. The echo of little things. After the initial shock of your silence, the second stage begins. This is the stage of comparison, where the ghost of your past efforts starts to haunt her present reality. When a woman truly begins to realize she lost a good man, it's rarely because of the big, dramatic moments. It's not the expensive gifts or the fancy vacations she remembers most vividly. What stays with her, what cuts the deepest, are the countless little things she once dismissed. The quiet, consistent gestures she didn't value until they were completely gone. A good man, a man who genuinely cares, shows his affection in ways that don't always scream for attention. It's the way he remembered that small detail about her day that no one else cared about. It's the way he noticed she was tired before she even said a word. It's the way he made her coffee exactly how she likes it without having to be asked. At the time, she didn't see how rare that level of attentiveness was. Her ego told her, that's just who he is. That's what he's supposed to do. She became comfortable. She might have even become entitled to it. But now that he is gone, those little things echo in the silence. She feels it when she has a bad day at work and realizes there is no one who will listen with that same level of patience. She feels it when she tries to date someone new, and that new man is forgetful, inattentive, or selfish. He doesn't remember her coffee order. He doesn't ask about her big meeting. He doesn't provide that quiet, steady support she had grown so accustomed to. I want you to reflect on this. What are the little things you consistently do for someone you care about? Do you believe those small, often unacknowledged acts of care have a hidden, long-term impact? This is when the regret truly begins to plant its roots. Because deep down, she knows she overlooked something priceless. Every new man she meets gets subconsciously measured against the one she lost. And suddenly, the boring consistency she once brushed off doesn't feel so boring anymore. It feels like stability. It feels like safety. It feels like everything. That is when it truly hits her. She didn't just lose a guy who liked her. She lost a man who actually, genuinely cared. Someone who gave without keeping score, who paid attention in a world full of distractions. And when she realizes how incredibly rare that is, the full weight of her mistake begins to sink in. Because the truth is, those small, consistent acts of love were never small at all. They were the entire foundation. And now that the foundation is gone, she is finally noticing how cold the ground is. Stage 3. The war within ego vs emotion. This is the stage where she knows she messed up, but her pride won't let her admit it. This is one of the hardest and most tumultuous battles a woman faces, when she realizes she lost a good man. The brutal, internal war between her ego and her emotions. Her ego is a powerful defense mechanism. It tells her to stay strong, to act like she doesn't care, to convince herself that you are the one with the problem. Her ego whispers, he should have fought harder. He should have chased more. If he really loved me, he would have proven himself again. Her pride will not allow her to accept the role of the one who made the mistake. So, on the outside, she does the opposite of what she feels. She will act completely unbothered. She will post those "living my best life" stories on Instagram. She will laugh louder when she is out with her friends. She might even intentionally start talking to a new guy, just to prove to you, and to herself, that she has moved on. But do not get it twisted. That is not strength. That is a defense. It is a smokescreen. Because inside, she is spiraling. While she is broadcasting her happiness to the world, she is secretly watching you. She is checking your social media, noticing if you've watched her story, analyzing your energy from a distance, wondering if you have truly moved on. Her ego says, "Don't you dare reach out. Don't admit you miss him. Don't let him know he mattered." But her emotions, her heart, they don't play by those rules. Her emotions keep whispering, "You lost someone rare, and he is not coming back." Have you ever seen an ex suddenly become hyperactive and seemingly happy on social media right after you walked away? Did you believe the performance? Or did you suspect it was hiding something else? This is why your continued silence and focus on your own life is so powerful. It gives her ego nothing to feed on. Her pride is expecting you to chase, to beg, to react. When you don't, her pride begins to crack. The emotions start to win. The missing comes in waves. It creeps in late at night. It strikes when she hears a song that reminds her of you. It lingers when she laughs with someone new and realizes, with a sinking feeling, that it doesn't feel the same. That is when the regret truly digs in. And while she plays it cool, while she hides behind her pride, the spiral only gets worse. Stage 4. The tipping point. Seeing you thrive. You want to know the one moment it truly stings. The one event that shatters her ego and forces her to confront the full magnitude of her loss. It's not right after the breakup. It's not when you go silent. It is the moment she sees you start to glow without her. This is the tipping point. This is when the realization cuts the deepest. Because up until this point, she could still tell herself a comforting lie. She could believe that you were sitting around at home, missing her, waiting for her to come back. She could believe she was still the center of your universe, even in her absence. But the moment she sees evidence to the contrary, that you are not just surviving, but actively thriving, that illusion is shattered. Women always notice. She will scroll through your social media, or hear from a mutual friend, or catch a glimpse of you in real life, and suddenly, you look different. You look lighter. You are hitting the gym consistently. You are advancing in your career. You are hanging out with friends, traveling, smiling in a way you didn't when you were with her. And that is when a cold, hard panic sets in. She realizes you are not stuck in the past. You are aggressively creating a powerful future, a future that does not include her. Here is the part most women will never admit. She doesn't want to see you miserable, but a part of her ego does not want to see you thriving without her either. Because when you level up, when your energy shifts from chasing her to investing in yourself, it changes the power dynamic completely. So, let me ask you this. What is one area of your life, your fitness, your career, your social circle, that you could start to genuinely glow up in right now? Not for her, but for your own self-respect. Suddenly, she is no longer the prize being evaluated. She feels like she is the one who has lost value. She will start asking herself questions that cut to the core. Was I really that forgettable? Did I matter at all? Did I completely underestimate what he was capable of becoming? And those questions, they hurt far more than anything you could ever say to her. Your growth becomes the ultimate proof of her miscalculation. It proves that you did not need her to shine. And that is the moment she realizes she didn't just lose a man. She lost a good man. And now, she has to watch from the sidelines as he becomes even better without her. Stage 5. The final realization, the weight of loss. This is the final stage. The war is over. The ego has been defeated. and all that remains is the quiet, heavy, and irreversible truth. This is the moment of complete acceptance, the final realization of what she has lost. At this stage, she finally understands. She recognizes that she took your consistency for weakness. She understands that she treated a man who was irreplaceable like he was a temporary option, until he finally chose himself. Her internal monologue is no longer a battle. It is a quiet, somber acknowledgement. I messed up. I lost a good man. The behavior in this stage is different. The fake social media posts stop. The passive-aggressive tests cease. If she does reach out, it is not with a playful, "Hey, stranger." It is with a humbled, often remorseful tone. More often than not, however, she will not reach out at all, paralyzed by the shame and the finality of her realization. She knows the door is closed, not because you slammed it in anger, but because you calmly walked through it and never looked back. After understanding this entire process, from the void of silence to the final weight of her loss, does it change how you view the act of walking away? Do you now see it not as an act of defeat, but as an act of ultimate strength? This is the ultimate lesson of the Stoic Manhood Guide. The man who is willing to walk away from a situation where he is not valued doesn't do it to punish her. He does it to preserve himself, and in doing so, he leaves an unforgettable impression of strength, dignity, and high value. That loss will haunt her, not because you were perfect, but because you were a good man who knew his worth. Once a woman realizes she downgraded, once she compares the superficiality of what she has now to the substance of what she lost with you, there is no peace in that. There is just regret, quiet, heavy, and relentless regret, and that is the final truth. A woman only truly realizes she lost a good man when he finally makes it clear, through his actions, that he will never again allow himself to be treated like he is replaceable. And once that realization hits, there is no coming back from it. So, here is the final, uncomfortable truth. A woman often doesn't miss you just because you were nice, or because you gave endlessly. She misses you when your absence forces her to finally face what she took for granted. She misses the consistency, the patience, and the steady presence she once brushed off as ordinary, only to discover in a world without you that it was exceptionally rare. The most important lesson in all of this is not about her regret. It is about your value. A good man doesn't need to circle back to witness her realization. He doesn't need her regret to validate his worth. He chooses himself long before she ever has the chance to miss him. That quiet, confident detachment is what makes the realization sting the most for her, because she knows he is not coming back. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever been the good man in this story? The one who walked away and perhaps later heard that she regretted it? Share your experience in the comments below. Your story is a powerful lesson for the entire community. If this deep dive into the psychology of regret gave you a new sense of your own value, please hit the like button to help this message reach more men. And if you are ready to continue mastering the unspoken rules of attraction, subscribe to the Stoic Manhood Guide. In our next video, we will explore the one masculine trait that women secretly find to be a major turn-off. You will not want to miss it. This has been the Stoic Manhood Guide. Remember, don't fight for her attention. Become the absence she can't stop thinking about.